At Bentonville Gym, the shadows don't just lurk, they grab, pull, and drag you into the darkness. Whispering spirits claw at your soul, and once you hear them, there's no escaping the nightmare. The Bentonville Gym had always been a quiet place, tucked away in a forgotten corner of the town. A simple, no-frills building, its walls held echoes of countless footsteps, clanking weights, and the strained breath of people pushing themselves to be better. Yet, despite its unremarkable exterior, something sinister lingered beneath the surface. It was the kind of place that most people didn't question. It was just a gym. No one would ever guess the horrors that waited inside. It started innocently enough. A few locals had begun to whisper about strange occurrences in the gym, flickering lights, odd shadows darting across the walls, and the unsettling feeling that someone was always watching. At first, the rumors were written off as mere superstition. After all, gyms weren't exactly known for their calming, peaceful atmospheres. But as time went on, the occurrences grew more frequent, more disturbing. It became clear that Bentonville Gym wasn't just an ordinary place. Lena had joined the gym 2 months ago. She was new to Bentonville, having moved from a neighboring town to escape her past. The gym, with its outdated equipment and unremarkable interior, felt safe, like it would help her build a new life. But from her very first visit, Lena felt something was off. The air in the gym was thick, heavy, as if the walls themselves were breathing. At first, she chalked it up to the old, musty smell of sweat and rubber. But soon she began to sense that something far darker lurked in the corners. One evening, as she finished her workout and was gathering her things, she saw a shadow, impossibly tall and thin, moving just beyond the rows of treadmills. It was so quick, so fluid, that Lena couldn't even be sure she had seen it at all. Her heart raced as she hurried to the door, but the sense of being followed lingered, wrapping itself around her like a cold, invisible hand. The next day, Lena returned to the gym, determined to shake off her fears. After all, she told herself she was just being paranoid. But when she stepped inside, she felt it again, an oppressive weight in the air, a presence just beyond her reach. As she worked out, the sounds of clanking weights and the hum of the machine seemed muffled, distant. She caught glimpses of movement in the mirrors, distorted, fleeting images that vanished as quickly as they appeared. That night, as Lena lay in bed, she could hear faint whispers drifting through the darkness. They were unintelligible at first, just soft murmurs, but then they grew louder, urgent, insistent. "Help me," they seemed to say. "Don't leave me." Lena sat up in bed, heart pounding, the whispers still echoing in her ears. She tried to brush it off as a figment of her imagination, but deep down, she knew the gym had a dark secret, one it wasn't willing to let go. Days turned into weeks, and the strange occurrences continued. The shadows grew darker, the whispers more distinct. Lena found herself growing increasingly afraid to go back to the gym, but the pull was undeniable. Something about the place drew her in, made her feel as though she had no choice but to return. One evening, Lena decided to confront whatever it was that haunted the gym. She stayed late, long after the last of the gym's regulars had left. The building was empty, eerily silent, save for the creaks and groans of the aging structure. As she wandered the empty halls, the feeling of being watched intensified. The temperature dropped suddenly, a chill creeping up her spine. Her breath came out in visible puffs, though the air was otherwise still. It was then that she saw it again, the tall, thin shadow, only this time it didn't disappear. It stood in the doorway of the locker room, its shape distorted, as if it were made of smoke and shadows. Lena froze, her blood running cold. She wanted to scream, but the words stuck in her throat. Instead, she found herself drawn toward the shadow, her legs moving of their own accord. As she stepped closer, the figure seemed to become more solid, more real. It was a man, tall and gaunt, his face a twisted mask of pain and torment. His eyes were empty, hollow like black pits that seemed to suck in all light. He raised a hand, pointing toward the farthest corner of the gym, where a large, dusty mirror hung on the wall. Lena's breath caught in her throat as she followed the figure's gaze. In the reflection of the mirror, she saw something that made her blood run cold: dozens of shadowy figures, their faces twisted in silent screams, pressing themselves against the glass. They were trapped, desperate, their hands reaching out for her. The air around her grew thick, suffocating. She could hear the sound of distant footsteps, the scraping of metal on metal, as if something was moving just out of sight. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat like a drum, urging her to run, but she couldn't. Something held her in place. Suddenly, the lights flickered, casting the gym in a sickly yellow glow. The shadows in the mirror began to move, their forms writhing and stretching like they were trying to break free. Lena turned to run, but the gym had changed. The walls seemed to close in, the doors disappearing, replaced by a long, dark hallway that stretched out in front of her, leading to nothing. The whispers came again, louder this time, as if they were right beside her. "Help us," they begged. "Don't leave us." Lena's head spun. The gym, once a place of comfort and routine, had transformed into something monstrous, a place where the dead lingered, trapped in a cycle of torment. She stumbled forward, desperate to escape, but the hallway twisted and turned, disorienting her. Each step she took felt like it was leading her deeper into the nightmare. The man's shadow appeared again, this time blocking her path. His eyes were no longer hollow, but filled with an unholy fire, burning with the hatred that chilled Lena to her core. He reached out, his long fingers brushing against her arm, sending a jolt of cold through her body. "You shouldn't have come here," he whispered, his voice raspy and low. "You're too late." Lena tried to pull away, but her feet were rooted to the ground. The gym seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, the very air around her crackling with an unnatural force. The whispers grew louder, more frantic, as if the spirits within the gym were closing in on her. The floor beneath her feet began to crack, deep fissures forming in the concrete. From the cracks, hands reached up, skeletal fingers clawing their way toward her. Lena screamed, but no sound came out. She was drowning in the silence, trapped in a nightmare with no escape. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the gym, followed by the sound of rushing footsteps. Lena's head snapped toward the source of the noise. In the doorway stood a figure, a man, tall and broad-shouldered, dressed in workout gear. But his face was distorted, twisted into an expression of anguish and horror. His mouth opened in a silent scream, and then he collapsed to the floor, his body crumpling like a rag doll. The gym had swallowed him whole, just as it had swallowed the others before him. Lena turned to run, but the hallway stretched endlessly in front of her. The whispers were deafening now, drowning out her thoughts, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. She could feel the spirits closing in, their cold hands brushing against her skin, their cries echoing in her ears. With every step, the gym seemed to grow darker, more twisted. The walls bled shadows, the ceiling groaned under an unseen weight. Lena's breath came in ragged gasps as she pushed forward, but no matter how far she ran, she couldn't escape. The Bentonville gym had claimed her, just as it had claimed so many others before her. And as the shadows closed in, Lena realized the truth: the gym was alive. It was a place of death, a prison for lost souls, and there was no escape. The Bentonville haunted gym had claimed another victim. As the cold air grips you and the eerie whispers echo in your mind, the Bentonville gym stands as a dark reminder of the souls trapped within its walls. No matter how hard you try to escape, the gym's sinister grip tightens. The shadows never forget. The spirits never rest. Each night, they wait for the next unsuspecting victim to stumble upon the cursed building, to wander too close, to hear the whispers calling their name. Lena, like many before her, found herself drawn in, unable to resist the chilling presence that surrounded her. What began as a place to push her limits, to build strength, quickly transformed into a death trap. Her every step was followed, her every move watched, as though the gym itself was alive, breathing in the darkness that lurked behind its walls. Those who have entered Bentonville gym never return the same. Some never return at all. Their faces are lost to the gym's twisted reflections, their souls claimed by the darkness that hides within. The spirits are restless, their tortured cries rising louder with each passing day. It's not just the gym that's haunted. The very air around it is cursed. Every visit is a gamble, a bet against time, against the overwhelming pull of the haunted space. Once the gym has taken hold of you, there's no turning back. The horror begins the moment you walk through the door, and it never truly ends. So if you ever find yourself in Bentonville, think twice before stepping into that gym. The next person you see working out might not be alive. They might be one of the lost souls who still roam the gym, trapped in a never-ending nightmare. And if you listen closely, you might hear them whispering your name, beckoning you to join them. If you're brave enough, step inside, but remember, there's no guarantee you'll ever walk out again. If you enjoyed this terrifying tale of the Bentonville haunted gym, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss the next horror-filled journey into the unknown. And remember, sometimes it's better to stay in the light and never venture into places where darkness lingers. Stay safe, and remember, the shadows are always watching.